how does winning create champions? Or if you want to win big, how does winning more often help you achieve that? Let's discuss that in this video because it's something that actually works. In this video, let's discuss what the winning effect is, and let's also discuss how to incorporate these principles in a practical manner in our day-to-day work to ensure that we actually win more or win bigger. So first, what is the winning effect? Now again, without going too much into psychology, there were experiments conducted on mice. So two mice were there put together and they were in a tube, and whichever mice pushed the other mice out of the tube would be the winner and they would be rewarded. So in this experiment, it was found that if you have two mice and you somehow help one mice to win, either by pushing that mice from the backside or by dragging the other mice so that the other mice performs poorer, whatever way, if you can get one mice to win, then the probability of that mice winning the next time was much higher. Another experiment which was conducted was two mice were put to fight, and one mice was drugged and the other mice was in a sound state, and obviously that mice won. But the next time when the other mice was not drugged, the mice that did win the fight in the first instance was much more likely to win. Now this is what we call the winning effect, or if you already have wins, then you are much more likely to win again and again. Now this is something that we see very often in real life as well. For example, in sports such as ice hockey or football, when you have a group of children who start out playing this game, and if there are older children in that group, and because they are physically more grown, if they tend to have early wins, you will see that there is a high probability that they will outperform their peers. So we have seen that if you can design your work or study in a way that you win more often, then you will win big. Now let's discuss 3 practical strategies which you can use to organize or design your work and study such that you're more likely to win often, and as a result, you will win big. The first strategy which I want to discuss over here for this is called tiny habits, and this is something put forward by B.J. Fogg, who is a researcher. Now, if you want to build a habit like waking up early to study or work effectively, then build that habit of waking up early through tiny steps. That means if you are currently waking up at 8 o'clock, let's say, and you want to wake up at 6 o'clock, don't try to immediately change the habit of waking up at 8 to waking up at 6, but rather build it incrementally. And the reason for this is you're much more likely to succeed but to change your waking up at 8 to waking up at 7:45, and that win will help you wake up eventually at 7:30, and then when you keep winning again and again, you will be able to wake up consistently at 6 after a period of time. So do try this out, and using this method, you will be able to win more often and ultimately win big, which is, for example, to wake up at 6 if you're a person who's usually waking up at 8. The second strategy which I have for you is to have a carefully curated checklist. Now, I've discussed this in detail in another video, but what you can do is ensure your checklist or your to-do list has easy tasks. Like for example, there's a major thing that you want to do, break it down into smaller things and ensure that the beginning tasks in your list are so easy that you will be able to easily complete them and mark checks on the checklist, and that will give you wins more often and ultimately it will help you win big. The third strategy, which is especially useful for completing courses, is to have daily goals. So that's why I love courses that are structured as daily challenges. Do check out my new 40 days Python coding challenge, which is a course covering data structures and algorithms, and it's organized into daily challenges for this very reason. So when you have daily challenges, even though you have not completed everything in whatever you want to study, but when you have a clear goal for a day and when you complete it, it's giving you a sense of winning and getting early wins is very crucial to study anything quickly and efficiently. So do make use of these 3 strategies and design your work and study in a way that you win more often to win big. I have one more bonus tip to help you win more often. So again, it's about perception. It's about the way that you think about your work and study. So think about winning not in terms of outcome, but rather in terms of effort that you put in. And when you win, that is, if you think in terms of effort, when you put in effort, reward yourself because you're winning. Now, this is very important and especially backed by research by people like Carol Dweck. So if you have a group of children and if you praise one group of children for their effort and the other group of children for their outcomes, it's been found that the children who have been praised for their effort outperform their other peers by a huge margin when it comes to difficult tasks, because the children that were praised for outcomes don't tend to take the risks, or they don't enjoy doing the more difficult things because they are afraid that they wouldn't get praise. So again, what's happening over here is that children who were praised for their effort were rewarded for their effort, and they perceived winning as putting in effort. The other children who were praised for their outcomes perceived winning in terms of outcomes, and they were scared to do difficult things because they were afraid that they probably would not win, and in that case they would not be praised. So it's very important how you perceive winning. Perceive winning in terms of putting in effort, and that will make a huge difference to your work and your studies. Now, the reason for this is when you perceive winning in terms of effort put in, there is much more control, and when you have control, you can win more often. And secondly, when you perceive winning in terms of effort put in, you focus on the process rather than the final outcome, and the process is something that keeps happening again and again, and therefore you can win more often. So the underlying point is this: to win big, win more often, and that's not by chance, but rather design your study and work in a way that you will win more often. I've talked briefly about the checklist method in this video, but do check out this video over here where I have discussed in detail why this is such an amazing way to win more often and to enter into a state of flow.